What up, guys? Wait till some more you get into the chat. You can know what I've been doing. Thought it'd be done by now, to be honest. I'm sure many of you thought the same thing. But it is what it is. Took me a while to get the footage that I needed, and there's a lot of things that I've been through that you can't exactly just on key pull a phone out and be like, oh, this is what I just went through. So maybe in the future I'll step up my game and have hidden cameras. That'd be kind of cool. I want to start this off by dedicating this video to a guy that I seen for the last time the other day before he died. His name was Aaron, and a little bit older than me. He was a nice guy. He had a drinking problem, but only when it got cold would he actually drink. And the other day I said, brother, you said you was going to slow down on that drinking. And he said, well, don't you feel how cold it is? And he started laughing, and I started laughing. That was probably around 3 or 4 o'clock in the evening, about 2 nights ago. But even though I could tell he had drank too much, he didn't stop drinking. And stepped out in front of a car right in front of the skate park out here, which is next to the shelter. And he died. And I've heard him say many times if he just had a way off the streets, he would take it. And we as a society have left men on the streets to be dealt with by police and Christian groups. And the Christian groups, I'm sure some of them, because I've met a few people and I've seen a few organizations that help the homeless. Some of them are pretty good, you know. Even River of Life, as much as I've criticized that place and as much as I'm going to criticize that place, there are some good people that work there too. But what bothers me about Aaron is that he did not want to be on the street. He did not want to live out here. But because of his handicap, he couldn't really do construction and mechanics like he used to. He had worked his whole life, tore up his body like most men do. And the moment he became unavailable for the workforce as far as hard labor and stuff like that goes, to maintain society. Once he wasn't able to maintain society, he had no other skills. And society forgot him. Now, he wasn't real old, but arthritis doesn't really know age. It doesn't know a number. And in my movie, I'll try to find an article, because every time a homeless person dies, they do actually put it in the news out here, especially if they get hit by a car. He got hit so hard that he flipped in the air and landed on his face and died there shortly after. Now, I didn't see it. I was in the one of those restrooms by the park, so I heard it. And by the time I got out of the restroom, I could just tell that whoever it was, they were gone. And I was already having a really bad day. And I just couldn't walk up, because there was already people there that were medically trained in the area. There was friends and all that, so I knew it was somebody I knew, just based on the group that was walking out there. And I've already had enough sleepless nights. I wear my heart on my sleeve, and to do what I've been doing lately, it's been causing me to bleed out emotionally, and you can't do that out here. But I will tell you this, guys. Yeah, my ID got stolen when I was handing out blankets to the homeless. My wallet got stolen, but I'm on my way to get a new ID soon. And then I'll be on my way out of this situation. Because I would have never gotten this situation if there wasn't a way for me to get out of it. So I really wanted people to see what it's like to be on the streets in the fastest growing city in America, which is Boise. And knowing that they have abandoned their homeless population, it's only a matter of time before 48 Hours, Live PD, and all those shows end up over here. Because I'm here to tell you, people are are being thrown into the river dead. People have been found chopped up in dumpsters out here. And it's not even that big of a city. The murder rate isn't that high. But the murders that you hear about, and only the ones that, because this is a desert, so imagine the ones you don't hear about. People go missing all the time. I'm gonna take this mask off. People go missing out here all the time, guys. And people get chopped up and put in dumpsters out here. People get found by the river. All kinds of shit's going on out here, and it's the homeless population. They all have something in common. It's the homeless people. And you wonder, is it the gangs killing each other, the little small gangs that are here, or is there something else going on? And I raised that question in the documentary that I'm going to put out, but here's the problem. The only reason why I have not put it out, because I have so much dirt on this city, so many video clips that need to be seen, things that need to be said, that I don't have the room on this phone to go through it all and edit it. So what I have to do is I have to privately upload every clip that I have when I have the spare time, which in the next few days I will. I'll have the spare time to upload every clip, and then that way I can go through and kind of mirror my own spots, while you know what I need and stuff. And it's going to be a well-made video. It's going to be more like a documentary than a movie. But it's just terrible to see what's going on out here. And one thing I'm doing is standing out from the rest. Look at this. Trash bags. We got a tarp with more trash bags and boxes. What I'm doing is I'm picking up trash out by the Greenbelt again. Nobody pays me to do it. I have donors that if I had asked, I'm sure they would have gladly given me some money, but I wanted to struggle just like everybody else. Just because I'm a YouTuber doesn't give me the right to come out here, stick my nose in there and say, oh, I got donors that'll make sure I'm comfortable. No, I want to experience this just like I did back in the day when I didn't have a YouTube channel. You know? God damn. Can't get this fucking glove back on. But I wanted to be in the same boat as everybody else. Because out here, I'm going to tell you what. Nobody cares if you're a YouTuber. I can tell you that for a fact. Some people don't care that I've kept them out of cuffs. I've been disrespected by almost everybody I've helped out here because they know I'm the exception, but I don't get big-headed about it. When they're doing something stupid, and I know they're going to do it anyways, I tend to give them a better idea on how to do it so they stay out of trouble. Because you ever see those videos where the guy says, oh, I was an idiot for 20 years and finally got my head out of the sand, and now I made something of myself, and it's a tear-jerking video about, you know, his motivational speech about how you stop doing this and that and the other. The only way that some of these guys are going to ever have a chance to be that inspiration is if we keep them out of handcuffs, give them compassion, give them skills, you know, job training. All these temp job agencies, they need to have a branch that also teaches guys wood shop, teaches guys drywall, teaches guys how to do automotive. Why aren't these Job Corps places doing that? Because I don't hear about that. They should have, you know, some type of GoFundMe for such things, and maybe it'll be, you know, trades for the homeless or something like that. Because, you know, a lot of these older men that are out here, they've maintained society. They have skills, but their bodies are tore up from maintaining society. And then you see the younger homeless guys out here just hustling because that's all they know. So maybe if we get some type of organization going, we can go to places like this and say, hey, do you know anything about drywall? Just walk up to somebody. Oh, no, I don't know anything how to do that. I don't know how to do that. Well, how would you like to learn? We'll give you $10 a day to learn a trade. You know what I mean? And it has to, the donation's got to be coming in to give somebody $10 a day. But you get 5 at the beginning and 5 at the end, or something like, or maybe just wait till the training's done at the end of the day, or maybe even the end of the week. And, you know, 5 days a week, you get $50 at the end of the week to learn a trade. And that may sound crazy. Why would you pay somebody for training? Well, it would cost less for society to pay $50 a week for somebody to be useful than it would be to pay thousands of dollars a month for them to be incarcerated because they sat there and had to get a plug to make money. And so I'm trying to figure out solutions, right? And that's one that I've come up with in my head. Also, what I'm doing right here, picking up trash out here. See, this is beautiful nature out here by the Greenbelt. And I've been out here a couple times and I see trash everywhere. I've seen paraphernalia out here. And people's kids come out here, and it's really discouraging to me when I'm trying to convince the public to have compassion on the homeless, but yet I'm seeing trash and paraphernalia everywhere. And so I feel like there should also be paid by each city individually, and they could come up with how their program could be ran. But they could find spots like this. Now, don't bother people that are camping, because I found out legally they are allowed to camp, even though the mayor, which is a female, tells the police chief and his deputies to harass people and lock them up and give them tickets for camping outside, even though the shelters aren't big enough to match the homeless population. It's just not big enough. But they need to pay people to come out here, mainly the homeless. It would be nice if it was just the homeless so they could, you know, be the ones to do it. But see, I've been picking up trash for a while. This is a lot of trash. That's a lot of cardboard on my back here. Hold on, let's see if I can get widescreen on here. Well, I guess it's not going to go widescreen, but I have a tarp here which I wrap the cardboards in. And if you look right here, I've already found my first piece of trash. But I'm sitting there on my way to a campsite out there where somebody had abandoned a campsite that yesterday when I was out here, there was a lot more trash than what you see here. So when I get there, I'll be able to crap. But I don't want to exactly go live, because what if it's somebody's little escape area where they just want to kind of have their own privacy? I don't want to give away how to get there, because it's actually a pain in the ass. And it's very hidden. So, but you see this? This is what I'm out here for. This right here. And don't judge these men for drinking out here, guys. I've done it a couple times, and I'm not even really homeless. You know, well, by definition, technically I am until next week. But, you know, it's really, really difficult to be told, hey, you have to do everything our way, and we're gonna, you know, chop your pride up all day long. Because some of these shelters are like that, some of them aren't, and it also depends on the staff. But some of these people get treated like shit, and I've seen it, and I got videos of it, especially at ROL. If you make a good point on something that's not right, they will haze you, surround you like a hornet's nest. Kind of like we do when somebody disses us or whatever, and they'll surround them, and that person could have mental illness. They could be struggling with some type of other issues, and they don't even look at it as a case-by-case basis. They just say, oh, how dare you bow your chest at us about anything. You know, if that person's not a threat, you should just at least hear, even if you don't agree. If the person is homeless, this is their experience. You should at least hear what they have to say. You know, and you don't have to just fold because they're homeless. That's not what compassion is. Compassion is sitting there saying, hey, they're ignored by everybody else. I'm here to listen. And my thing is this: if you're working at a homeless shelter, you should be the one person or the group of people that should at least listen to what these homeless men have to say. At least listen and have some compassion. Now, see, I like coming out here. Look at all these ducks and geese and stuff. I love it. It's peace on earth. What got me picking up trash was I wanted to come out here and get away from the city life and all the drama. And I kept finding needles out here and little dope baggies and beer cans and vodka bottles, broken glass, all kinds of stuff. And finding all that paraphernalia, it really bothered me, because the only reason why there's no people out here and nobody out here with their kids, you know, tossing a football or fishing, is because of what they see on the ground or what they've heard about online that's out here. And it's because this is the closest foot traffic for the homeless to get out here. And some of the homeless that come out here, they're not out here trashing it. I know a guy that lives out here. He's very well kept. You can't even tell he's out there. And he minds his own and doesn't do anything wrong. He doesn't bring crowds out here. He's not out here to party. He's just out here to survive away from the madness. And I give that man absolute respect. I don't know if he's somewhere nearby that could hear me, but hey, I give that man absolute respect. And he's a good dude for keeping up his own trash. But unfortunately, a lot of people come out here just to be out here for 30 minutes, and then they trash the place, and then they go back to the shelters. And so there needs to be a third-party program that with maybe health officials that monitors these people, doesn't judge them, lets them into their little center, and says, hey, I'm gonna sit here and watch you do your thing and make sure you don't overdo it, so you don't get hit by cars like Aaron did the other night. I know it sounds crazy, but I feel like that's more productive than having all this trash everywhere, all this paraphernalia on the ground. Because some people come out here because they're clean, they're getting clean, and then when they look down, they see trash on the ground that triggers them to go back and relapse. On Cooper Alley, sometimes I'll pick up trash because I see dope baggies and folded up foilies, which people put dope on apparently and smoke it with a straw, which I didn't even know people did it that way. Back in the day when I did dumb shit, we used glass. So that's something new that I kind of learned. But I'm out here with compassion, not judgment, and I'm trying to figure out how can we make this world a better place, and how can we look at the homeless situation that men have always gone through. Some of these men, they go through a divorce that causes them mental illness, and they say, fuck it, what am I working for? And they kind of become MGTOW, right? And then instead of, they're MGTOW, but they don't do the self-improvement part. They end up doing self-destruction instead of self-improvement because they don't know about MGTOW. I've been preaching MGTOW since I got out here without saying the acronym until I knew somebody was comfortable enough to understand it. So between a few ideas that I have where you could create programs to pay these guys $5 to $10 a day, I think 5 would be fair. So it's not like they're having a huge come up. It's just, hey, you can get a pack of cigarettes and go back to the shelter later, but you learn how to do wood shop, automotive, or something like that. And there'd be like 10 or 12 trades instructors there that volunteer their time but get paid vouchers for their gas and food and things like that. And these would be preferably older guys that are already retired or ex-military that have trades, that know a little bit more about structure and what it takes to be a man. Men who have actually gone through it their whole life and know what these men need, what they need to go through. Like a mentorship program that teaches you how to do trades. That's what the homeless needs, especially these younger guys. When they get older, a lot of the older homeless now, like I said, they have that experience, but they're burnt out physically. And my thing is this, that same program could also, hire maybe some of the homeless. If you're volunteer, you're volunteer, but if you have, your life together, but if you're homeless and you have enough skills and knowledge, I think they should pay you to teach these younger guys how to do something. And there should be safe houses where these cats can go and be monitored, because there's some countries where if you're an addict or a drunk or something, you can go into these centers and there'll be health officials watching you and not allowing you to OD or kill yourself. And then you're not throwing the beer cans and beer bottles on the ground or the little baggies or whatever the hell you got. And because the other day I was picking up trash, and on the edge of my glove, I didn't see it, but a needle stuck right through that glove and almost got me. I've never been so mad in my life. I was so angry, and I didn't know who to be angry at, society or the person that was doing it. But either way, I was pissed off because I said, this is not the world that we're supposed to live in. This is not how we're supposed to live. And then when you're the exception and you want to pick up trash and throw away all the stuff that you see on the ground, almost cost me my life. It literally almost. So I started getting this little wooden spoon that I found and just sifting the trash that's in the next to the curbs and whatnot before I pick it up. So that way I don't have an incident like that again. But I also had another incident where a needle stuck me in my shoe, but luckily it wasn't strong enough to poke all the way through that leather. That's why I have these leather boots now, since I'm the one who wants to pick up trash. I've almost been murdered because people thought I was a cop at one point. My vehicle has been vandalized and destroyed. I sold it for just over $200. That's how shitty it was, guys. That's how shitty it was. And you'll see that in the documentary. I had a mental breakdown that day, and then I had to deny it when the cops showed up. Now, they knew who I was because I remember being kicked by them in February when they ran out of room out here, and I had to sleep on the curb and I was only here for court. But that experience is what drew the line in the sand for me to come back, wait until the COVID outbreak happened, see what it looks like, because number one, these people are forgotten. Number two, it's older men that are mostly affected. So I wanted to see the most vulnerable group that I could ever find, which is the homeless. And I wanted to go to an area where I knew they were already being treated like shit, but yet it's only a few streets. There's only a couple streets of this problem over here. And I found out a lot about society, because to me this was like the Mouse Utopia experiment. I treated this whole experience like they did with that Mouse Utopia experiment, and I was able to take a lot of field notes and pretty much document exactly what's going on. And unlike before, when I was homeless, when I was blind to solutions, I was so stuck in my own head about what problems I was going through that I never found the solutions. But everything starts off with a little bit of effort, a little bit of struggle. And what I'm doing today, like I said, I'm picking up trash. If I find paraphernalia, I'm going to put it into a little Ziploc baggie and dispose of it somewhere where they don't dig into the trash, because there are people that dig in the trash out here. And find any glass or bottles, like the little campsite I seen up there, I'll just pick it up, because that's why society does not care about the homeless. I figured it out. It's not just that they're men, it's that there's trash everywhere, and every homeless environment is pretty much the same, where you got like 2 to 3 out of 10 that just throw shit on the ground, and they don't care, because somebody else somewhere along the line will pick it up. But all it does is perpetuate addiction. If somebody wanted to get clean, it's impossible. You could look on the ground and just see, oh, well, somebody else had fun today. Somebody else had fun last night. And so it just perpetuates it. And I struggle with my drinking. I do. But lately I told myself, Mike, the more you drink, the more emotional you're going to get. The more emotional that you get, the more distracted you're going to get. Because I had, about a week, at least, since I've been out here. I've been out here for a couple months. There was at least 1 week where I sat there and drank the whole time, didn't get any videos, didn't turn my phone on, and I just was depressed from all the pain that I can feel. It's like there's a weight on my back, and it hurts. Not a lot of people can look at a situation or experience it and come up with the solutions or point things out. And I do have a specific skill for that. So I'm not wasting time in my life anymore. This is something I really want to do. And I don't follow religion, but I do follow God. And I've been telling people that since I got here. I'm doing God's work. And when I say I'm doing God's work, it doesn't mean I'm doing it for Him. He's protecting me so I can do it. A lot of religions, they say, oh, let's just pray for the homeless. Be the prayer. Why would you pray for something to change when it takes effort to change something? And you have to deprogram yourself from whatever you previously thought about homelessness. You have to throw it to the side and do some research on mental illness and addiction, and how being forgotten, and people give you a sandwich, pat themselves on the back. That's it. And then a lot of the homeless people don't know their rights on whether they can do this or that or the other. And addiction and mental illness gets treated as a criminal offense, when in both cases, once you're stuck there, it's kind of like if you smoke cigarettes and you're watching this right now. Imagine if somebody threw you in a cell because you smoked a cigarette. Imagine what that would feel like. And then when you get out, you got a record because you smoked a cigarette, right? Imagine how that would feel. I mean, that's what's going on. That's what's going on. Now, if you're drinking and driving or under any influence in your driving, you could get somebody killed. Like my buddy the other day, he got killed. Only the driver was sober and he was the drunk, because he was walking and he just was looking the wrong way. So there are certain instances where you're intoxicated and you get in trouble. Well, I'm not going to sit there and say you're a victim, But in that case, I think he was, because it was slap ass cold. He has mental illness, bipolar, and a few other things, and he doesn't mesh well in these places, because he's not going to. I mean, like I said, he's a nice guy, but there's certain people he just doesn't mesh with, and the staff at some of these shelters is one of them, because he's loud and rambunctious and likes to goof off and be funny, and they don't like that. If you stand out and you're like a comedian, they're going to sit there and tell you got to be quiet, stop being so loud, yada, yada, yada. And so if you're funny like that, you're not going to feel accepted. And unfortunately, it was really cold, and that's why he drank as much as he did. And he wasn't in his right mind. When he crossed that street, I'm sure in his head he thought, I have enough time to get across this street. Unfortunately, crossing the street cost him the rest of his time. And the point is, we always think we have enough time, don't we, guys? Something could happen to me out here. I've had people try to take my life. There's been hits put out on me a few times. And instead of running away from it like I did when those people in Florida shot at me with 140 rounds, instead of running away from it, I faced it. I faced everything head on, and I'm still here. It doesn't make sense to me, but that means that I need to try harder to solve these problems while I'm here, because I've been blessed with the time. And that's all life is time. The day that we die, it's just as real as the moment that you're experiencing right now on this live stream. It's just as real as this moment. It's just as valuable and fleeting as this moment. Because one day, I won't be here. Those ducks won't be here. Whatever fish is in there, it won't be here. All the men, all the women in these shelters, all the staff, they're not going to be here one day. And so what kind of change and example are we gonna throw out there? Left-leaning, right-leaning change, or the right way, which is a narrow path? I like to use the biblical term, a narrow path, because the solutions are literally on a path that's so small you could walk past it. And I think deep down we all know that the way we've been handling things for 30, 40 years, it's incorrect. We can't trust them with the families, the family structure. So how can we trust society with the homeless structure and the mental illness and addiction? Because the family structure falling has increased both mental illness and addiction by God only knows how many percents. We all know that 80 to 90% of criminals are raised by not the father, because the men are pushed out the homes or lose incentive because he's not allowed to leave or to lead. He's not allowed to lead in that home. And they use him as a checkbook. So the family structure gets destroyed. Gangs, drugs, violence, addiction, mental illness is on the rise. And in the fastest growing city, they only have about 1,000 to 2,000 homeless people, or so they say. But I see the same 50 to 100 people every day at these shelters. So either people are missing, or they're just hiding right under our nose somehow, or something else is going on. And when you got the Jesuits running Corpus Christi House, and probably some of these other places, or at least working there, when their oath talks about extermination and exterminating non-Christians, when you look out at these homeless men, yeah, they maintain society, a lot of them. Some of them have mental illness and addiction, but they're not Christians, most of them. And the numbers on the books don't match what I'm seeing. So it makes me wonder a little bit. But we'll take that tinfoil hat off, and at least for now. But anyways, guys, I'm getting long-winded, and I got a lot of trash that I'm going to pick up today. I've already picked up a lot, but I'm not going to stop picking up trash until I can't pick up anymore. So probably about noon out here in Boise, I'll probably stop picking up trash around then. And we'll see how it goes. All right, guys. Hey, have some patience. Within the next 2 weeks, I will have the documentary. I know it's been a long time, but I had to record a lot of things that had happened over the last couple months, because I wanted to see if my predictions had panned out. And so, in some ways they did, and in some ways I learned new things. So I don't know everything, but this is why I'm able to dissect society, because I'm willing to throw myself into certain situations to learn stuff that previously didn't know. And if it's the fastest growing city, that tells you it's got low crime. It's got low crime for now. And so you want to solve these problems while it's low. You don't want to wait till it looks like Chicago, Detroit, or Compton, or Fifth Ward in Houston. You don't want to wait till it gets bad, until men are forced to be like the Mouse Utopia experiment, where all the mice were biting on each other's ears and tails. We don't want to wait till it gets worse. Now look, society's probably fucked anyways, and as MGTOW, it's not our responsibility, to fix anything. But it doesn't mean that you can't try to figure out with field experience what the solutions could have been or should have been. Because I want to be known as a philosopher, not just a MGTOW, but a philosopher that had all the solutions. Society slept on it, but potentially maybe just like Tacitus and some of these other old philosophers like Socrates, perhaps in the future somebody will look at what I've said or wrote and say, hey, history is repeating itself. We need to look at what Mike said, or what Sandman said, or because a lot of this is a philosophy, right? So that makes us all philosophers, if you really look at it. I believe it was Socrates that said, if you find a good wife, you'll find happiness. Now you have to look this up, but maybe it's kind of out of context. We say if you find a good wife, you'll find happiness, but if you find a bad wife, you'll become a philosopher. I believe it was Socrates that said that. And when I saw that, I fucking laughed so hard that tears came out the other day, because I wish I would have found that quote sooner. But basically, if you find a bad wife, this is the part that's perfectly in context. If you find a bad wife, you'll become a philosopher. So look that up. I believe it's Socrates. But yeah, that's it's one hell of a quote. But anyways, guys, good morning. Share this stream everywhere. I won't be setting this one to private. Keeping it up as a receipt as to why I'm out here, because like I said, I find needles and all kinds of dope baggies and beer bottles and liquor bottles, and I ain't trying to get pinned with that just because I'm the one that's going to be picking it all up. Really easy to think that I'm just some homeless guy. If you look, it's really easy to think that, because I mean, I got this tarp with boxes in it and trash bags with trash. But damn, I singed my fucking face the other day trying to set a campfire. Damn. Looks like a little Frosties. But anyways, guys, I got all the videos before I even got here. I was doing my little shitty jobs before I did this. I didn't want anybody to know publicly, except for maybe Mr. Elite and a few others, that I was going to come out here and be homeless on purpose. I didn't want anybody to know ahead of time, in case those are watching, or that those that do gang stalk us. I didn't want them coming up here pretending to be homeless and fucking with shit and poking their nose around before I had the chance to do what I have to do. So I had to be sneaky about it. I'm sure you guys are wondering, why was Mike only putting out music? It's because I have other agendas, and it was election year, and now that that's over, I feel like I can set everything back to public here soon. But I want to at least finish this documentary first before I set everything else up back to public, because it could be somebody petty that's watching, because they've been holding my live streams. Somebody petty could be watching and say, oh, the moment he uploads all of his videos, I want to take his channel so he can't get that documentary out there. There are people like that in the world. So I want to get the documentary edited over the next couple weeks. I'm done getting footage as far as I know. I ran out of room on my phone, so it's going to be a lot of uploading and then taking clips and snippets of stuff. Just pray for me, guys. You don't have to be religious to talk to God, by the way. You don't have to be a Christian, a Muslim, a Buddhist, or anything. But take some philosophy from each religion, because there is some good in each of it. But when you really look at religion, it's just a bunch of men that looked to God and said, lead the way. And they did not use books to do it. When men wake up to that, we become, at least many of us, if you have the tools, you become an unstoppable force. And fighting society is like that saying, when a immovable object meets a unstoppable force. That's what it's like to follow God, because you're running into society and it does not move. It does not want to move. So you're digging into it, scratching the surface, getting as far as you can, even though the object itself is not going to move. And so, you guys out there that stuck around, I love you, man. I love you, men out there. I love you, brothers. And to all the fathers and sons out there, follow God's path without following religion. Even if you're an atheist, just test it. Test that theory. I have seen things that I can't explain. I've seen the devil, if that's his name. Whatever it is, I have seen evil out here. But I've also seen what many refer to as the light. Yahweh, God, Allah, whatever you want to call him. I've seen him. It's terrifying when you see both, when you used to question it. But if God wasn't real, I'd be dead right now, guys. 100%. I'd be dead right now. So have a good day, good morning. Wish me luck on my trash pickup. Hopefully I don't get poked by no damn needles if I find any. I haven't found any out here in a while, thank God. But have a good day, gentlemen. And I will leave this stream up and just let everybody know that I'm going to be publicizing all my videos again. It'll have the same views, same comments and everything. I never deleted it. I just, just strategy. That's all it was. So I love you guys. I'm still MGTOW. I'm always going to be MGTOW. I'm not simping for no bitches out there. I'm doing what's not easy, which is throwing myself out in the cold, and I hate the cold. So y'all have a good day. And to all my donors out there, when I get back out of this situation, which I say when, not if, because I've always had the way out. Perhaps I'll ask for donations at that point, but I want to at least where I'm going, I want to create a GoFundMe for like a program that can teach men trades. And before I even start that GoFundMe, I'm going to create a Craigslist ad to find guys that know automotive, men that know this and know that, that want to be a part of this mentorship program. And we'll go to homeless shelters and teach these men how to do stuff. And if it gets big enough, if we make enough money, I will call these shelters up here, send them my documentary, and also links to that GoFundMe, and perhaps I could hire men up here to do the same thing. So solutions can be made, at least in some degree. We can't fix the family structure, but we can help those on the bottom, the men that have been forgotten in society. All right, guys, have a good one. Oh, wait, hold on. I want to at least check the comments real quick. I seem to forget that. Successful endeavors, man. Looks like your heart is pumping strong, sir. It's good to hear you're out there. For those that don't know, Successful Endeavors, a couple months ago, I believe, had his heart surgery. I was very nervous about it. I was very, very nervous about it. He's not old, but he's not young either, so there could always be an issue with that, and I was very worried about him. But he's a strong cookie, man. He's a trucker just like Hammerhand for different reasons, but he's out there doing what he's got to do to make that money. He makes pretty good money, and he's definitely a good brother. I met him in Oklahoma. I won't say where, but it wasn't no big city or anything like that. Small, tiny little town. Probably population of 1,000 people. But I hung out with him out there, and then I met High Fly and a few others out there, and we had a good time sitting by a lake, just sitting there, shooting the shit. And he kept me out, from having to go get a hotel room, so that was pretty cool. But that's not the only reason why he's my brother. He has had my back in ways that I can't even express, and I'll always be grateful for that. I'm glad that he's doing well after the surgery. Strong as always, MGTOW strong. And we got MGTOW, Elder Monk, and Pathfinder says greetings. Mr. Awesomeness says stay safe. Seafood. I knew that had to be Seafood. MGTOW, Elder Monk, and Pathfinder. That's got to be Seafood right there. With the, because I was like, I don't remember giving whoever that is a wrench. That's got to be Seafood. Yeah, I heard he was going to change his name. MGTOW, Elder Monk, and Pathfinder. I like that. Well, Seafood, maybe one day you come out here and help me pick up this damn trash, since I know we live in about the same area. Just kidding. Also, shout out to Seafood. When my oil, I guess gasket was leaking out oil, it was heating up the engine so bad that my gas was just burning through my Caravan way too quickly, and I needed oil and gas, and just was stranded one day. And I was like, fuck, if I just made it a few more miles, I would have made it to where I had some money and stuff of my own. And he helped me out, and never said, oh, hey, you're going to owe me. He just said, here you go. Like, it was just amazing. I've never had anybody just give me money and say that I didn't owe, except for MGTOW men like him a few times that I have needed help. I'm out here with no food stamps kind of thing. I ain't trying to do all that. But, Sifu, which looks like MGTOW, Elder Monk, and Pathfinder, I guess that's him, because he always says greetings, so I'm pretty sure that's him. But he helped me out with $60, man. I'm hardened and everything, but I almost cried. I was like, damn, the only love that a brother has or gets in this world is from another brother. And it's really true. And then Drunk Hulk says, we're going to see mass male homelessness because of 0% interest rates and inflating housing. Exactly. Thank you for saying that. See, that's the highbrow terms there. That's definitely not layman's terms there. But anybody that doesn't understand inflation, or what interest rates are, and property tax and all that kind of stuff. Here in Boise, it's the fastest growing city, and to me it's odd for them to have had thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people move in. And I'm seeing neighborhoods pop up that you don't even see on Google Maps. When I chose to be a delivery driver, that's one reason why I did it, because I chose a spot where there's a bunch of new housing, and I wanted to see for myself how many people are moving in and how fast they're moving in. It's one reason why I chose that job strategically, and it's insane that there's not more homeless people out here. It's kind of crazy that, I mean, I think there should be more, but I feel like there's some suspicious ass shit going on, and the Jesuits are definitely here out and about poking around the homeless community. I just wish I would have recorded that conversation when I asked the man about his oath. He did say that the Pope was his boss. He said that. I at least got him to say that. But he denied the leaden bullet, the poison cup, and the extermination against all non-Christians. You know, they have to deny that. You can't just openly admit that, even if that's what you're doing. But I've only seen him that one time. I thought I seen him the other day, but there was just another guy that looked like him. It's kind of odd. But and I've got proof. Look, I didn't get proof of him admitting he was a Jesuit, but I stole his jacket that said Jesuits on it, and you'll see that in the documentary. And you'll see my face. Like, I put that thing on just hey, I'm in the picture. I put it on, and I didn't look like I was proud to wear that shit for a few minutes. I didn't like it. And then what's funny is I seen an event that the Jesuits was going to, and I put on that jacket and walked right in. It was really funny. Yeah, I walked right in. So I've got all kinds of goodies for you guys, and we'll see how it goes. Stay safe out there. Chronic Blast, what's up, brother? Yep. But yeah, guys, Drunk Hulk definitely is on something with the rise of homelessness and rise in population. It's the fastest growing city. The only jobs out here for men seem to be construction because it's growing so fast. It's almost as if they're building a city to populate more people than they have jobs. And these homeless shelters, one of them is the size of a daycare center. It's called Interfaith Sanctuary. It's right next to a bridge. You could Google it, and you could see clearly with your own eyes that there's no way that you could house even half of 1,000 people in there. And then you could look at River of Life, and you could see that, hey, you can't house 1,000 people in there, you know, either, because each room is individual on the second, and third story. They're individual rooms, maybe 1 or 2 men in each. And then they have a bay that holds about 60 men. I believe Interfaith has a bay that holds about 60 men as well. So when you start looking at it, and you start looking at these other shelters that had closed down because of COVID, and how a lot of these churches won't hold services anymore because of COVID, and so there's just not enough resources. The resources they used to give, it never really solved the problems. So you're going to see this homelessness idea in a whole new light, even if you've ever been homeless. And if Boise can't get it together soon, they're going to have so many people here, so many homeless people here, that it's going to be citizen versus cop, because that's all you have left is the cops to deal with the homelessness. And look, guys, I don't want the left-leaning groups to capitalize on this and have something 10, 20 years from now to say, oh, the cops, fuck the cops. Look, it's the mayor here. She is setting the precedent. And also the people here that hate Californians, because look what California did to itself. California self-imploded. And that's why you see at least the patriots that are there rising up. And it's a beautiful thing. I have been seeing that. I have been watching that. And it is a beautiful thing to see so many patriots that actually do live out there that have been stronger than me, because I would never live out there, ever. Never. Fuck that. But you guys stay strong out there, and we'll figure this out together.